My name's Jane Fisher, and I'm going to take my necklace off because it's... My name's Jane Fisher, I'm assistant head teacher at Flint High School, and I want to talk to you about the drive for literacy that we've worked on. We've just had Estin in January, and one of the first lines in the Estin report was, pupils who enter the school in Year 7 as poor readers make very good progress in improving their reading skills. You can't imagine how proud I was to read that. But more importantly, you can't imagine how proud every member of the school was to read that. Previously, the science teachers would have looked to see what was said about science, the tech teachers would have wanted to know what was said about tech, etc., etc. But Flint has changed so much in the past 18 months because we're so interested in reading skills. It's been a whole school drive. When I was learning to become a teacher, you always heard the phrase, all teachers are teachers of literacy. You heard it time and time again. And it was very much, a bit of a cliche, a bit of an old chestnut. But I can say, hand on heart now at Flint, all teachers are teachers of literacy. And I'll tell you how we did it. There's three things. We informed, we involved, and we inspired. And that's staff and students. So, to inform our staff, first thing we did was share with them reading ages. Now, sounds obvious, and I've been doing that for years. I've been sharing reading ages with staff, but staff were not taking any notice. They didn't really look at it. And I know they didn't, because when we shared with staff the reading ages of our students in a bit of a different way, they were shocked, and I had conversation after conversation with staff about, you've made a mistake, that can't be right, they can't all have that low reading age. Well, they had, and they had for years previously, but staff obviously hadn't taken it on board. So we used the NFER Nelson online reading test, and it gives you lovely graphs. It shows you where your children are with their reading ages, and it makes a real impact. And when we published in November 2011 the reading profile for our Year 7s, we were able to say that 55% of our Year 7 students did not have a reading age that was going to allow them to cope in mainstream, in secondary school. Staff had to listen and had to take that on board. The other thing we did is we categorised all students. So now when they get class lists, they also get a letter by each child. So if a child has an A by them, staff know that they've got a reading age of below 9.5. If they've got a B next to them, they know that their reading age is more than 6 months below their chronological age. And it's very powerful when you've got a class list and you've got lots of A's and B's. So staff knew then what they were dealing with. And okay, so they knew the problem, so we also informed them about the solutions. Lots and lots of staff in set, lots of people in, looking at John there. We got the advisors in several times to help, to support what we were doing and where we were going to go with this. We also, at that point, involved the primary literacy coordinator, primary English coordinator to help us as well. Because at secondary school, we don't know how to teach reading. It's not something we've ever done. So, on to my second I, involve. Staff knew now what they had to do. How did we actually get them involved and make them accountable, more accountable? Well, we needed something. We needed something that we could use and that we could share with all staff. And Julie Hughes came up with Fresh Start for us. And so we went for that in a big way, and that was Year 7. Every day, Year 7 had an hour of an hour's literacy for Fresh Start. And that was delivered by science teachers, by humanities teachers, by ICT teachers, whoever really should have been teaching that Year 7 class at the time. They delivered Fresh Start. So they were really teachers of literacy, teachers of reading. Okay, we also involve staff in lots of other ways. We involve staff by, again, making them more accountable, looking at the scores in their classes, the skills scores, and seeing why those children weren't being moved on in certain areas. My last I, because I know I'm nearly to time, is inspire. How did we inspire staff? And how did, more importantly, how did we inspire the students? Well, we made our school look like a reading school. We made sure that displays on corridors were bright and buzzy and about literacy. Our library transformed into a learning zone. And I know it sounds a bit naff and a bit American, but it was an excuse to relaunch the library. And now it is not just a place where, kids hang out because it's raining. The place is absolutely chock-a-block all the time. And even if they're not doing reading activities, they're doing activities that they can then go and read about or write about. So there's film club, but it's always linked to activities to do with literacy. We also did a Flint Reads campaign where staff had to take photographs of themselves reading in unusual locations. So we've got our PE teacher hanging upside down off a cliff face, reading a book about mountaineering. And the children were talking about it. It created a buzz and it created interest. So our school really worked hard to move on the literacy skills of our students. And as I say, from the leadership team's point of view, we did it by informing, involving and inspiring the staff and the students. Thank you.